They're not forever. Nothing is forever.
On the borders, Africa is one, so they can respect every Africa. Protect our riches that we share equally amongst my brothers, my sisters, and all. I can see it coming, a bright future in our land, as it was in the beginning, so shall it be in our days. Stand up.
Egzotyczne zwierzęta, zapierające dech w piersiach krajobrazy, bezkres. Z drugiej strony niedorozwój, ubóstwo i beznadzieja. Z europejskiej perspektywy tak zazwyczaj postrzegamy Afrykę, drugi co do wielkości kontynent zamieszkały przez ponad 1 miliard ludzi. Kraje afrykańskie, leżące na południe od Sahary, niewątpliwie borykają się z wieloma problemami i wyzwaniami. Realizacja milenijnych celów rozwoju, inicjatywy uzgodnionej na forum Organizacji Narodów Zjednoczonych przez wszystkie państwa członkowskie, miała dotyczyć przede wszystkim tego regionu świata. Czy oznacza to jednak, że cała Afryka jest taka jak utarty stereotyp?
There was no development here when we started. These tide roads that you see, there was nothing. It used to take 3 days or 4 days from Francistown. I'm not talking about Habron. Francistown to Mao. She used to sleep on the road, make food on the road, to take pots and everything. It just goes to show how hard it was at that time. But now, all these kids who were born, they don't even know the difficulties that we had. Yes. To them, it's just something that just came, but it came through hard work. Our government is very different from other neighboring countries, because here in Botswana, you know, the poor people, government looks after them. They get the monthly supplies, and with the old people too, they get, well, the monthly little money. But like we have lots of orphans from HIV and AIDS. You know, the children have lost their parents, and the government is looking after these kids, from clothing, feeding them, sending to school, and everything. This is why I say the money is really deviated in many ways. Because here in Botswana, we have never heard that somebody died from hunger or somebody died from being neglected. The Botswana are very united people. They are very united people.
Botswana leży w południowej części kontynentu afrykańskiego. Kraj nie ma dostępu do morza, a około 70% jego terytorium zajmuje pustynia Kalahari. Na przestrzeni prawie dwukrotnie większej niż powierzchnia Polski mieszka niecałe 2 miliony ludzi. Uzyskując niepodległość w 1966 roku, Botswana była ubogim rolniczym krajem. Jednak niedługo później, na skutek odkrycia bogatych złóż surowców, głównie diamentów, stała się jedną z najszybciej rozwijających się gospodarek świata. W rankingu rozwoju ONZ z 2010 roku Botswana zajęła 98. miejsce w świecie, nieco powyżej średniej światowej i znacząco powyżej średniej dla krajów czarnej Afryki.
You know, we celebrated the 40th birthday with a friend of mine the other day, and our theme was, you know, we were the last generation to have lived in both. You know, to have collected water from the river and known the rules, and to know what it's like to fill up a bath, put foam bath, bath crystals, music, you know, and go for it. And we were like saying, what are we doing? And some of my friends at that party, their kids don't speak Setswana, they all speak English, darling.
abangane bami ngabantu bezinto besilala singalele thina sihamba ubusuku nemini sifuna bona.
In fact, you are preparing them for Christmas party and graduation. It will be held on the 20th of November.
It is, you know, the low amounts of water available to the society as such. It forms the fabric of the society. It's been always there. It will always be there as a limiting factor, as a thing that you have to think about, that you have to be aware of, and you have to plan around. Something that, you know, in many countries we just don't worry much about.
Water is the major problem because we depend only on rain. The only problem which is here is that we don't have this, you know, good wells whereby we can irrigate our crops. We've got only dams and we depend from the rain only. That's where the problem of agriculture is coming from. If government can maybe, you know, help people to, you know, to dig some wells for every field, and I think people will be able to plow their fields.
If there are shortages, it's, you know, it's hour-long queuing to actually get, you know, a couple of liters of water. And it's in large parts of the country. it is like this, you know. So it's a problem that is embedded in the structure. The mining has its independent water supply. People who take decisions, they take care that while doing mining, that they don't compromise really the needs of local communities. There might be some minor exceptions from that, but I think that's the paradigm that is there. That we have, you know, the nature, people, and the mining separately, so they shouldn't affect each other.
We take money from government, from diamond. You see, you take money from diamond. Only with that one way to get money from diamond.
Diamond and beef.
Diamond and beef.
Our government is also very generous. If they realize that, you know, this year the plowing is going to be bad, we get handouts, we do. You know what I mean? Our diamonds help. If diamonds went, as long as we had good rainfall and access to seeds, a lot of people who live in rural areas would be fine. It's the people that live in towns that...
Yeah, it's only in more, say, urban setting. If we have gazetted villages, bigger villages, then the government takes care of providing water. So they drill boreholes and make the water distribution system. So people, but it's still, you know, even in a village, you know, it's not like everybody can afford having water brought to their house. So there are standpipes, and sometimes, you know, you have to walk to get to the standpipe and get the water out of it.
Now, government is more and more moving towards individual household connection. And therefore there is a fee connected with that. But the fee is still quite minimal. I think, in fact, the water sector is complaining about that people are not valuing water for what it is because they are getting it almost for free. And some of us in the social development side, we are arguing that it is a basic need and therefore government should provide it and subsidies are in order.
W osadach formalnych, zamieszkałych przez ponad 500 osób, rząd Botswany zapewnia nie tylko bieżącą wodę, ale także utwardzoną drogę, podstawową opiekę medyczną oraz szkołę podstawową. Edukacja przedszkolna jest jednak wciąż całkowicie prywatna.
Good morning, parents. My name is Sitati. I'm a teacher. My job is to teach.
We're just teaching them about professions, like when they grow up, what do you like to be when you grow up? And we have the professions of the one which we have is a doctor. What is the job for a doctor? What is the job for the tailor? And so forth and so forth.
Kindergartens and preschools have actually been an underdeveloped area of education in this country because the government has not been involved. They are coming up with a policy right now to actually put that into mainstream education, but it has been largely private. Up until recently, education was not paid for all the way from primary to secondary, and you would have to get a bursary to go to any tertiary education. But recently the government has changed the policy, perhaps because a lot more families have working members and things like that, and they can afford a little bit, but also because government felt that they need to share with parents the burden of education. So now secondary school is now paid for by parents and subsidized by government. Primary school is still free. But then, of course, that's not the same for private education. There is private education which the parents are responsible almost 100% to pay for it. And then a tertiary education, you still have to either pay for yourself or your parents pay for you, or you get a bursary from government or a scholarship from wherever you can get it.
Szkoła podstawowa jest obowiązkowa. Elementary school, każdy musi iść, rząd tego dopilnowuje, są nawet kary nałożone na rodziców, którzy nie posyłają swoich dzieci do szkoły, tak? Natomiast nasze zadanie jest przygotować po prostu dzieci. To nie chodzi o to, żeby dziecko po naszym szkole czytało, pisało i w ogóle, bo wtedy nie ma sensu iść do podstawówki.
They do appreciate when their children come here, they can, even when they are playing, though they're naughty, they can communicate in English throughout. Because here we have like some Basaras, those Kwaisan, you know, but you can't notice some of them, but they are around. The Kalaharis, the Hereros, you know, but when they are in school, they communicate throughout in English. So they do appreciate how the children they are doing in school.
Education in itself is a poverty reduction strategy, you know, making sure that, you know, the wide segment of the population have at least the basic skills, basic 9 years of literacy, so that people, you know, there's a link between the educational level of a mother and the survival rate of the child, you know, that kind of thing. So those are kind of invisible long-term strategies, but there are other more elaborate ones. It doesn't mean that poverty is not there. Poverty levels are still high in the Delta, which has a lot of natural resources, as you said. But if you look at natural resources, for people to take advantage of those, you have to have other forms of capital in order to do that. It's either you should be skilled, or you should have access to finance, or you should have access to quite a number of other forms of capital which you can use.
The current currency in Botswana is cash. You know, people don't farm so much anymore. There's poor rainfalls, there's poor soils. So hunting is also very seasonal, and you need a license, and you need this, you need that. So for people to actually live, they need cash immediately. And those who live in rural areas will cut trees to sell as firewood, will burn palm trees to make palm wine. And I was working in particular with unemployed youth in that village. And we were trying to train them on tourism-related skills to say, yes, we need to make money, but let's look at the resources you have. You have nature. But instead of cutting them and destroying them, let's train you in skills where you can use those same resources without destroying them and still making money.
Tourism has been realized by government as the engine of economic growth, apart from diamonds, because diamonds are not forever. So government is really trying to develop the tourism because they are renewable resources.
Botswana od kilkunastu lat realizuje program zarządzania zasobami naturalnymi z poszanowaniem praw społeczności lokalnych o nazwie Community-Based Natural Resources Management, w skrócie CBNRM. Polega on na tworzeniu lokalnych spółdzielni, które zarządzają obszarami chronionymi i decydują o wyborze prywatnych firm turystycznych operujących na ich terenie. Taka formuła stosowana jest m.in. w śródlądowej delcie rzeki Okavango, jednej z głównych atrakcji turystycznych Botswany.
young man of 19 years old, and I'm just living around the Okavango Delta. I started this job in 2007. Before that, I've been to school for about 12 years. People, they have been living just around the Okavango Delta. They were just doing like fishing, and because it was long time, poaching, and people hunting for some honeybees, honey. Yeah, that is how it was. A trust, it is like it's an office of the local people who live around, and it's like those people. It's like they are organizing or marketing the Okavango Delta. It's like it has got 6 villages. Each and every year, they give each and every village some of the money from those money. So they just divide it into 6, then some villages get something, trust, then the government. See?
There was communities were encouraged to have these joint venture arrangements. But generally we used to call them joint venture partnerships. But honestly, they were not partnerships. They were just normal contractual agreement that I sell you the quota, you give me the money, I give you the land, you give me the rental. Whatever you do is up to you and what. So that is where CBNRM has failed.
In the guidelines, the private sector role is classed as a joint venture partnership, with the vision that obviously the private enterprise would make profits and the community would make profits in order to sustain their social events and for the company to be able to sustain their business.
I was giving the example of a hunting, that you sell the quota to the safari company. Whether they'll find clients or not is none of the community's business. All they want is their money.
If you wanted that area, in a small village, somebody may go in there and hold a party and, vote for me, I'll come in there. We're talking similar to a political election. We're talking about people that don't really know what the value they have, but then all of a sudden now they think they've got some value, and they start playing one off against the other, and it doesn't lead to an educated decision of who should be your joint venture partner. What it leads to is who held the best party at the last minute. However, having said that, as a private sector, once you go into that, you know what you're going into. Your eyes are wide open. The document says joint venture, but you're a business, so you go into it, and if you say you're going to build a clinic, you must build the clinic. And you must employ the people to be socially responsible for that clinic, because that's what you've said you're doing. And there is one thing with communities: if you promise something, you must deliver it, because the communities and the villages out there only understand that. They do not understand there's world economic problems and you can't build this and all that. They understand that this has to be built.
As the villages, they build something like the clinics, the schools. So then there's if there's gonna be some money left, they buy some vehicles to transport people from here to Maun, and even to take their child to school as well. See? Last year, 10 people will take some money to spend for the school fee. This time, they just read on those names. They say 0, last year you get some, so this time it's gonna go for poly. You see how it works?
Because in a community, they grow their own food. They've fished from the rivers all their lives. They've sold curios to tourists. Some have worked in the cities and brought money home and everything. It's a very social community. There's nobody that can't get a meal from somebody else. And there's nobody that's going to be denied that meal, whether they work or not. This is not a society that denies people the right to have food or etc. This is a society, if that's what you would like to do, we're happy with it.
It works, but I only think that it is not good somewhere, in a situation whereby it's like the companies, they just charge the clients lots of money. But I think their duty in that way is like just to take the trust entrance fee, then to pay for the pollers. But the rest of the money, they keep it as their profit. I think that way it's like they're earning more money with us while they're not doing nothing much. But we as the guys and the pollers, we work very hard. Although if you want the money to be increased, no, they delay it, see.
We'd like higher wages. We'd like to work less hours. We'd like you to transport us from here to wherever we want to go. We want extra funding for the football matches. We want this, we want that. It's very difficult to start saying no.
There's this misconception that money is coming in all the time. And if you haven't worked to build this table, if it breaks down, we'll buy a new one. They don't fix things. It's throw it out, we'll get a new one, money is coming anyway, you know. So there's also, even though it's supposed to be owned by the trust, they have a very sort of irresponsible attitude towards assets of the trusts, you know. So they will buy TVs, or the TV, if there's one TV, it'll rotate around every household because they say it's my TV, because I'm a member of the trust. You know, it's my car. If the car goes into town, 50 people pile into it for no reason, because they want to also enjoy the benefits. So yes, there's a lot of that, you know.
I never forget, we had the crime and corruption come to us, and a huge amount of money had disappeared from the community books, and it just wasn't accounted for. And they were trying to find out where this money was, and had it been bought, new Mercedes-Benzes, and what had actually happened to it. And I said to them, gentlemen, it's very simple. You've given $1 million to somebody, to a village of 500 people that are all friends and family-related members, and they're trying to control this money who have never controlled this money. And they're going for a loan of 2,000 puller a week, or $300 or $400. Times that by 30 people a week. Times it by 52.
Because the trust is like running a country. You find people who are living in a rural area who have limited or no education, and you say, here's a resource, you're going to make money out of it, manage it. And somebody maybe whom 500 pula is a lot of money, and you're expecting them to sort of manage and distribute and control 1,000, 50,000 pula maybe per elephant, for instance. So there's a lot of greed. It would be also a lot of immaturity and ignorance. It would be like me coming into a preschool and saying, okay, kids, I found a great way for, this is my opinion, I found a great way for your school to do well. Here's the money, you run it. And you expect them to do it well.
And they're just buying some clothes and going to have some drinks and family friends and nothing special, not buying a big vehicle. The difference is we can take a $1 million and you look at me, I can tell you where $1 million is. But here from a village you've got 500 or 1,000 people just taking a little bit of something. Something for them, they don't mean to squander this money. They just borrowed the money for a little bit of time. But if you take 3s or 400s times by 500s, it adds up to the millions. And that's what I said to them. I said, gentlemen, it's simple, it's there.
There needs to be a lot of training on how to manage those resources, how to decision make, how to problem solve, how to budget. So, when it comes to trust, I think we did things back to front. Yeah.
The business just would like respect from the community. And respect means these animals are here to be photographed. That means we don't expect anybody to come and poach them. And if you know somebody is poaching them and they're from your village, we expect you to inform the authorities on it. Because you may not have a job at that camp, but your fellow man in the village has it. We look for respect in so much as if we're going to have, rather than have tourists come in and there might be a strike or something like that, let's discuss it all together. Because this business belongs to us. Without you, we fail. Without us, with our offices in Johannesburg and London and all the social events and all of this, we all fail. That is the joint venture. Without one, the other one doesn't survive.
Obecnie największym wyzwaniem stojącym przed Botswaną jest przezwyciężenie skutków epidemii AIDS. Do 2006 roku Botswana zajmowała pierwsze miejsce na światowej liście zachorowań i umieralności na tę chorobę. Na przełomie wieków średnia oczekiwana długość życia spadła z około 60 do 35 lat, a liczba sierot i półsierot rosła w bardzo szybkim tempie, osiągając ponad 100 000. W 2003 roku rząd rozpoczął kompleksowy program walki z AIDS, obejmujący powszechną diagnostykę, kampanie informacyjne oraz dystrybucję bezpłatnych leków antyretrowirusowych. Obecnie 24% dorosłych mieszkańców Botswany jest nosicielami wirusa HIV, a średnia oczekiwana długość życia wzrosła do ponad 55 lat.
Normalnie w weekendy mieliśmy czasami do 7, nawet 10, 3,5 tysiąca wioska, duża wioska, 3,5 tysiąca wioska, 7 do 10 pogrzebów. No niesamowite. I z tych 70 to było jakieś 1-2 osoby takie koło 70, a reszta 25, 30, młodzi ludzie.
O simolotse ka go nantsa nwa dipilisi tsa TB magwe a ba tswa dintho ngakaga a ba tsengwa a sena go tsengwa mmagwe ba robatswa ko sepatela a sena go robatswa ko sepatela ba go bona gore it's too late jaanong gore a gologe sente go raya gore a tsengwe drip aba a mmelega a na le kgwedi tse 6 mo mpeng ga mmagwe a sena go mmelega a ba tsengwa mo galasing mmagwe a ba isiwa ko gaborone a ba go thokagala ko marine a tshwanetse gore a go diriwa di-operation ya dintho
I'm not a counselor, but Mpo used to do counseling. Some people would cry, some people would feel very sad, but after counseling, they just accept the position, and then they take the treatment. So in the past, some people would hang themselves. If they learn they are positive, they would rather prefer to go and hang themselves. So counseling is helping a lot. This is a toilet also for men and a bath. I have a grandchildren. When I'm ill, my grandchild will say, "Granny, did you go to the clinic to check yourself?" How to say, "Checking myself for what?" I say, "Checking yourself for HIV." So I can see, even at school, children are taught, and now they are realizing HIV/AIDS is there and it's a killer disease.
I think our government is doing a great job. First of all, we've got this policy that every single in Botswana is either infected or affected by AIDS. You know, whether or not I'm HIV positive, I will be affected by the disease because either some of my family members might have the disease, some of the kids that I work with might have the disease, people who work with me or for me, you know what I mean? So it will affect me one way or another. So the government has been giving free antiretroviral medication, to help, so anybody can go. They also have this prevention of mother-to-child transmission, where they give them milk, they give them medication from the time that it's, detected. They have billboards, they've got leaflets, they've got radio programs, so that people are sensitized about HIV on different levels by different mediums. So I think, and it's getting to the point where people aren't embarrassed to talk about their status. And I mean, with me working in the tourism industry, there are lodges where actually if you're not HIV positive, you're not cool because you're in the minority.
We have communities and people that work for us, etc. There are people that are HIV that they do not find it a stigma. They go to the clinics, get the antiretroviral drugs, back on the job. You live a normal life. And the Botswana government provides the means and the drugs and etc. The only thing that comes up with HIV and that is making sure that everybody is aware of their status.
Development is an NGO, but it's something of a special NGO. It started off as a project between the Botswana government and the USA. So it was the two governments that came together that then formed something called Developili. And the essence of it was, starting off, was to really assist Botswana to get to know their HIV status, because we were aware that we have an HIV problem, but we did not have many VCTs in the country, that's voluntary counseling and testing centers. So it was important to put something in place to allow for that to happen. Looking forward, that's what it means. Develop or a vision. Like when you talk about the vision of Botswana, they will tell you Developili ya Botswana. That is the vision. So Developili is a vision, and if you look at our logo, you'll see that it shows the dawn. It's a dawn of a new day.
It's a very nice place. Living in Botswana is just okay. There is peace, there is everything. We live in peace. Compared to other countries where there are always wars and what, but in Botswana we can't, there is nothing like that.
Life in Botswana is very good. Yeah, it's very good. This is a very peaceful country.
Because my country is a peace country. It's a beautiful country. But the biggest problem right now, I think, is poverty. Because many people, they are under this government scheme. They are orphans because of HIV/AIDS. They are being supported by the government. They are being given food, even clothing. Even poverty, those people who can't maybe do anything for them, because these days there is no employment because of global recession. There is no money. Right now, even the government, they can't employ until maybe they can say that maybe the recession is now better.
Mimo wielu problemów i przeszkód, Botswana jest niewątpliwie przykładem sukcesu rozwojowego. Botswana, firma zajmująca się wydobyciem i sprzedażą diamentów, będąca w 50% własnością państwa, jest wehikułem modernizacji kraju. Co przynosi ze sobą blask diamentów z Kalahari?
I can only speak for myself. We don't sit around a fire anymore. And okay, I don't have kids, but even when nephews and nieces come and visit, we don't sit around. And when they come, they want to watch TV, you know, because that's how the stories come out. If you go and collect firewood and somebody says to you, you know, watch it, you know, there's this kind of snake that does, you know, there's this, like we've got this mythological snake that we call Botswany. It literally means snake goat, you know, and somebody will say, you know, when you walk under a tree, be very careful because the Botswany might be coiled around it. And you say, well, what is a Botswany? You know, a Botswany is a snake that it bleats like a baby goat. And it always looks for little boys and girls that wander a little bit too far and close to trees, cuts your head off, sucks your brains out, and then, ooh, you know. So we don't collect firewood, we use gas stoves, you know, so you will lose those mythological creatures that we used to have. Families also work, you know, both mom and dad work. And sometimes the maid spends more time with the child. So yeah, development technology has changed a lot of Botswana culture. And also when you watch TV, your own culture seems so, it's not so special, it's not new. It's like, oh gosh, you know, so yes, it is dying. Let me give you an example. In 1991, I went to Canada, came back in 93. When I came back, I felt like I'd left people like this, and when I came back, they'd done this. And then I stayed 93 to 99. And I think things are also more obvious if you go away and you come back. I went to the United States in 1999. I came back 2002 and everything had changed. Not only had people gone from here to here, they had moved. And they were walking different, talking different, yo, 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 man. I was like, oh my God. I thought I had left the United States behind. It's here. You know what I mean? And yeah, so it was very rapid. You know, in 4 years, you know, I came back in Maung. The streets had changed. Buildings had come up everywhere. You know, there were cars, there were shops.
Child soldiers are taken from home. Sent to war, sent for murder. Orphans, and now they're sent home. How can they live after years of war? Ignorant minds, corrupts people and confuse them. Build their lives on vanity, for humanity.
It was like, oh my gosh, you know? You're like, I want to come and visit you. Oh, no, 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 we're watching a TV program at 5 o'clock. Okay, sorry. Everybody had a cell phone. I had no cell phone when I came from the United States. My mother's gardener had a cell phone. I was like, again, my mother was like, you should get a cell phone. I was like, what for? There's a phone at home. Everybody's got a cell phone, you know? So, yes.
W Botswanie myślę, że dobrze sobie poradzono z tym wszystkim. To znaczy zawsze są jakieś tam, powiedzmy, problemy, ale na tle, powiedzmy, innych państw afrykańskich Botswana jednak wygląda o wiele lepiej. Cała struktura, powiedzmy, rządowa czy dystrybucji na przykład całego, powiedzmy, bogactwa kraju w Botswanie jest o wiele bardziej sprawiedliwa, jest o bardziej jakoś taka mądrzej, powiedzmy, rozpracowana. Botswana ma swoje własne problemy, ale na tle innych krajów wygląda o wiele lepiej. Czy to gospodarczo, czy właśnie w podejściu do różnych problemów takich jak AIDS. Botswana była pierwszym krajem, który postanowił, powiedzmy, dofinansować leki. Także potencjał jest, ale nie można gospodarki opierać tylko na jednym, powiedzmy, na jednej rzeczy. I problemem nie jest to, czy diamenty się skończą, czy się nie skończą. Problemem są, czy będą kupowane.
As you saw during the recession, if you heard, we were some of the people who were hard hit. Our recurrent budget was in trouble because we couldn't sell the diamonds. So the diamonds are only good if you can sell them, and they're only good if they're there underground and you can get them out.
Diamonds, it's a good way of you know, generating. But it's the diamonds are not going to be forever. It all, you know, they shouldn't be forever.
Well, diamonds are not forever, but we believe that we've done very, very well with our diamonds. Because we believe, although we have many diamonds, but there are probably other countries elsewhere who have had their diamonds too. But we believe we have done very well because many of us have gone to school, coming from a poor country that didn't have anything. As we move around the country, you will see the infrastructure that is in place. We have got a health system that we can talk about. We've got schools that we can talk about. So our diamonds have done well for us. So even though we may end up finishing them all up and we may end up diversifying, we don't have any regrets really. And as a Botswana, I'm proud to say, no, I don't have any regrets. I think our country has done well with our diamonds. Maybe we could have done better, I don't know. But for what it's worth, we can see what we did with our diamonds and we're happy with that.
Botswańczycy bardzo cenią sobie to, co przyniosły im diamenty. Szczególnie dziś, gdy widzą już, że diamenty nie świecą wiecznie.
Sungi kwani bo